You know that feeling when you stare at a row of bass guitars online and wonder if any of them are actually going to fit your playing style, your budget, and the gigs you're dreaming about? You've probably spent a few minutes scrolling through endless specs and glossy photos, only to end up more confused because you can't tell which one will sound good in a small bedroom rehearsal versus a louder club stage. And the worst part is that you don't want to waste money on an instrument that looks great on paper but turns out to be a hassle to set up or just doesn't sit right in your hands. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's talk about the Ibanez SR1600B Premium Bass Guitar Caribbean Shoreline Flat. This is one of those models that catches the eye because of its vibrant finish. Think a sun-kissed horizon over turquoise water. That visual vibe is more than just a pretty face, it hints at the kind of personality the instrument tries to bring to a player's sound. The premium tag in the name also signals that Ibanez is positioning this as a step up from entry-level options, aiming at players who want a bit more nuance without stepping into the six-figure pro market. First, who should consider this bass? If you're a beginner who has already outgrown a cheap student model and you're looking for something that feels more refined, the SR1600B could be a logical next step. It's also a solid choice for intermediate players who want a reliable instrument for gigging and studio work, but who aren't ready or don't want to invest in a boutique, handcrafted instrument. The Caribbean Shoreline finish appeals to performers who like a bit of visual flair on stage, especially in genres where stage presence matters. Think funk, pop, or modern rock, where a splash of color can complement a lively performance. On the flip side, if you're a seasoned professional who demands ultra-customized electronics, exotic tone woods, or a neck profile that's been handshaped for a specific playing technique, you might find the SR1600B a little too off the shelf. Likewise, players who need a subcompact short-scale bass for very small hands may find the standard scale length of the SR line a bit long. In those cases, looking at a short-scale model or a boutique brand would likely serve you better. Now, let's break down the practical strengths that actually matter when you plug the thing in and start playing. One of the biggest wins for the SR1600B is its ergonomics. Ibanez's SR series is known for a thin, lightweight body that doesn't cling to you during long rehearsals. In real-world use, that means you can stand for an hour at a time without feeling like you're carrying a brick. The neck, while not something I personally measured, follows the brand's typical slim taper design, which tends to be comfortable for both right-handed and left-hand players who favor fast finger movement. That translates into smoother scales and quicker transitions when you're moving between root notes and higher positions. The Caribbean Shoreline finish isn't just about looks, it also uses a clear coat that helps protect the wood from the occasional bump on a stage floor or the wear that comes from gigging night after night. In practice, you'll notice that the gloss doesn't attract a lot of fingerprints, so the bass stays looking fresh longer. This can be a real morale booster for performers who want to feel confident that their instrument still looks as good as it sounds under stage lights. Tone is, of course, the heart of any bass discussion. While I can't quote exact pickup specifications because they weren't listed, the premium label suggests that Ibanez equipped the SR1600B with a pickup configuration aimed at delivering a balanced low end with enough bite for modern music. In a typical rehearsal room scenario, the bass will cut through a mix of drums and guitars without needing excessive EQ tweaks. When you plug it into a modest amp or a direct box for recording, you'll get a clear, articulate sound that works well for funk slaps, smooth R&B grooves, and punchy rock lines alike. For a player who records at home, you'll find that the signal is clean enough that you can add a touch of overdrive or a chorus effect later without fighting against a muddy foundation. That said, there are a few practical weaknesses you should be aware of before you click Add to Cart. Because the SR1600B is aimed at a broad audience, the electronics are fairly straightforward, which means you won't get the same level of tonal sculpting as a high-end model with multiple coil tap options or active EQ circuits. If you need a bass that can swing from ultra-tight jazz pizzicato to heavy metal growls with a single switch, you might find yourself reaching for an external pedal or a more feature-rich instrument. Additionally, while the lightweight body is a blessing for comfort, some players who prefer a heavier instrument to feel more anchored on stage might feel the SR1600B lacks that solid, resonant weight. It's not.